What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to Just JP. Welcome back to my corner of the world. Hope that you're having a wonderful day, and specifically today, a wonderful Saturday, as we are going to go ahead and listen to Pat Metheny and Lyle with their title track and their song that is opening side one of the album, actually taking all of side one of the album. We're going to listen to As Falls Wichita, So Falls Wichita Falls. Which is, like I said, the name of the album. This was released in 1981. Almost from the outset of this channel's beginning, I seem to recall this track coming up in a lot of requests, and I just never quite got around to it. And I just kind of remembered it. So we're going to go ahead and use that and listen to this one as our long song Saturday request. So I hope that you guys enjoy it. Hope that you are having a wonderful day, a wonderful Saturday, or whenever you're watching this video. It's a wonderful one. Now, regarding Pat Metheny, I'm 99% sure that the music will be blocked on YouTube. So if it is, just click the link below and go directly to Vimeo, and you can watch it in all of its full glory right there. You don't have to sign up or anything. Just it's there for you. So if it's edited here on YouTube, I'm sorry. I can't help it. There's nothing I can do, but I can get it at least out to you guys. Freely available, you know? So let's go ahead and hop on into it. I'm really excited to see and hear what all the hype is about with this one, because I've heard a lot of great things. So let's go ahead and get into it. This is Pat Metheny and Lyle Mays, As Falls Wichita, So Falls Wichita Falls. Okay. That's kind of fun to say. What a masterful piece in subtlety and building atmosphere, which was incredibly surprising. I did not expect this to be so atmospheric and just like calm and organic in its progression. I was expecting really like a lot more, for example, drumming, like a lot more power, maybe something like right in your face, but this wasn't. And when I say power, I just mean like typical, you know, out in front and loud kind of power. But this was building power from the back. This was building a little bit of subtlety and electricity starting from the bottom, and it kind of kept it at a warm and soothing level. It was really interesting, and the best thing about it, I felt, were the synths, the keys, the organ, the auto harp, all of that, which is apparently being played by Lyle Mays. He is the one who's taking care of that specific portion of the sounds. And I think that Mr. Metheny, he plays a lot with a lot more subtlety and subtext in this piece. Because, yeah, I can hear the guitar in a lot of moments, but I think that perhaps their companionship is so close that they're both playing with such a perfect harmonization that it feels, at least for a first time listening, that the guitar almost just melts away into the synths and whatever else Mays is doing. But I think that's just their particular relationship and how close they are bonded musically, in that the music is just sometimes all together, lost and found kind of at the same time. I really, really love a certain moment in here, which I'll talk about in a little bit, but this piece has a lot of different progressions. The beginning, well, there's a lot of sound effects that are also taking place. For example, in the beginning, I couldn't quite hear what was going on in the words that were being spoken. In the beginning, it almost sounds like you have some sort of unrest going on. At the end, I'm pretty sure there's children playing. And then in the middle, you hear like a radio transmission, which honestly I didn't catch any of it, and I tried looking up lyrics, but I couldn't find. And then you also hear some numbers being said. I think it was 38, 42, 55, and 3 or something like that. I have no idea what that is. We're going to have to look all that up. But I think that there's a clear story going on here. Of course, with the name of the song, As Falls Wichita, like Wichita's falling, So Falls Wichita Falls. Like, along with Wichita falling, also Wichita Falls is falling, or something like that. I don't know. I got to look into the actual story because I do think that there's a story going on here. I'm just not quite sure what it is. But like I said, I am very, very impressed with Lyle. And I love the building up of the synths. And I mean, they really just work on top of each other. And like I said, I'm pretty sure that Pat's also working in there, perhaps just a little bit more delicately, almost as if you would have a guitarist like Fripp, who sometimes builds, you know, the underbelly of the song and builds from there. You don't always notice him right away, but there's a muscular subtlety that's being built. And I love that in here. But the auto harp, for example, being played on top, taking lead in the first few minutes there, I love that. Such a beautiful sound that I wasn't expecting in this one. I really wasn't expecting like any of what I got here. And then the percussion, which is being played by Nana Vasconcelos, and I might have mispronounced some of that. Oh man, I love the percussion that's being brought in here because you have the same tonalities of Indian or Eastern and African instruments like the darbuka, like the tabla, like things like that. I love that sound, and the way it's being played here is so brilliant. And even though there is a little bit of a change in a climax about 3/4 of the way through, in which you do have a standard drum set come in, one, it comes in very quietly, like a very quiet climax, and it doesn't stay too long before the song goes back into the ambience. But it's really the percussion that comes in beforehand that I felt most elated. Like, it's basically a solo being played on top of the synths, and the auto harp just taking wings. It's just very, very beautifully played. And once again, played with a lot of subtle direction. I can't play all of it because I don't want to have to edit more and more than I probably already have if this was blocked. But let me just see, I think it may be around here. There's the auto harp, which sounds so beautiful amongst the, maybe not wind chimes, but wind chime-like sounds, the chimes, I should just say. And then you have, of course, Pat's guitar underneath that, kind of building ground and paving a way. But this is so exhilarating. And what I really enjoy about that is, for example, with the tabla, and I'm sure with other instruments as well, percussion instruments like that typically have a sound, a vocalization associated with the actual sounds of the drums. I don't remember all of them, so I can't even tell you what's what, like with tablas and stuff like that. But there's a vocalization sound, a phonetic sound that goes along with each of the ways that you hit the drums specifically. And what I like in that section there, when the drums are introduced, you can hear, I would imagine, Nana actually doing those vocalizations in the back. It's like a soft and whispery kind of chanting that kind of just charms you and lulls you in, along with the gorgeous atmosphere that's being built up beneath it. I think that is just a wondrous way of bringing you into this trance-like spirit. And then the music really catapults from there on. Like I said, the drums eventually do come in. I don't remember exactly where, to be honest. I'm not sure what I'm looking for. But I do want to bring you back to a moment here about the 10-minute mark that I found was probably one of my favorite moments in this piece here. I just want to play that little piece of it because it goes from there. The actual flute-like, wind-like sound of the synth in that moment. The drums just beautifully, beautifully moving along in a mellow way. And the actual sounds that are being built there, I find are incredibly passionate and yet so organic. The music here actually feels like a nice marriage of heaven and earth because you have the earthly tones of the rhythm, of the percussion, which I would imagine, I don't see any specifics here besides what's listed, the berimbau, which if you click on it, on Wikipedia, it almost looks like a bow, like from a bow and arrow. I've seen this instrument before. It has a little sphere at the bottom, and it's apparently a percussion instrument, a single string percussion instrument. So that's actually really cool. Let me actually see, if you don't mind. I'm not going to have the video on screen, but I want to look up the sound of it perhaps. Maybe we can just hear how that sounds on its own. Let me just raise the volume here. Hold on. There you go. So, what unique instruments to bring in to add to this whole sound? I don't even know why I was specifically talking about that, but I did see that that was the one that was specifically listed. And this whole moment from the 10-minute mark forward, it's like a gorgeous creek of melody that is just flowing. It's like you're sitting by the river and just watching the vibrant melodies just being carried down, just washing over the rocky beds. And the heaven part, when I said the marriage of heaven and earth, the earthly percussion and rhythms and the heavenly synths, the sounds are bright, they're illustrious. Pat's guitar is shining bright. It all just comes together so, so wonderfully. And I wasn't expecting a piece with this much atmosphere. I was really expecting, like, maybe atmosphere in the beginning and then for it to really progress into something like, But this wasn't it. This was a piece of headspace. And like I said, even when you do get into that standard kind of drum sound, with the harp, it sounds like still going. It doesn't overtake, it doesn't ruin the mood. To be honest with you, even though it sounds good the way it was done, I actually prefer just the atmosphere on both ends of that. I just love the way that was built up. I love the way it played. I love the way it felt. The mood was just right. And that was kind of what I was expecting in listening to the piece in the beginning. But by the time we got to that, I was like, oh, I was just swirling around the universe with all the sounds we were doing before. Now we go into the standard kind of like this. But like I said, it just shows the musicianship and the technique that's going on and the direction with which they're taking the music, because even that sounds good. I just wasn't expecting that by the time we got to it. I was expecting something like that in the beginning, but the way they build to it and the way they work themselves to it is very, very craftily done. Now, I'm just reading on Wikipedia. Of course, the title makes reference to Wichita, Kansas, and Wichita Falls, Texas. Now, are there specific reasons that this track and the album as a whole are referencing these two cities? Is there something going on here that I should know about? Because I'm looking on here, Wichita, Kansas is the largest city in the U.S. state of Kansas. Okay. It is an industrial hub, regional center of culture, media, and trade. Okay, so I found at least something very small. I haven't found anything regarding the actual title and what it means to them, but I do see, I guess, regarding those numbers that were recited there, 38, 42, 55, 3. This was a happy accident. It was Mays counting the seconds so that he would be able to organize the layers of synth that would be the foundation for the rest of the tune. Its incorporation into the album's mix was unintentional. Mays thought it would be muted. So I guess that there's no actual narrative significance to that being in the song. And then I found a small little piece of an article from Pat Metheny, and he says, in regards to this album, we wanted to make a record that showed that improvisational thinking could be applied to more than just solos on changes. That one could improvise on the form itself, or one could improvise orchestration. One could even improvise the dramatic sweep of a section. Improvisation is far more versatile than it was often allowed to be. So I guess that's what they were kind of trying to evoke here in the piece. They were trying to improvise upon mood and actual setting of the song, rather than just like the notes and scales and solos and things that were kind of typical. They wanted to try and expand the definition of improvisation. So I think that came together, like I said, very organically here in this specific composition. Of course, and as always, I would love to know what you guys thought of this track. Of course, you can let me know in the comments below. Hope that you enjoyed this. Hope that you enjoyed this choice for a Long Song Saturday. If it was blocked here, I apologize. Not really anything I could do about it, but hopefully you enjoyed it, either here, the cut version, or over there on the link I supplied for you guys. But I hope that you come back tomorrow for whatever else we got going on. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and have a wonderful day, guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.